Hello everybody, good day to you. Welcome back. Glad you guys are here. This is a 2008 GMC Sierra. It's 2500 HD. It's got the 6.6 DURAMAX. I believe this is the LMM version. Single rear wheel, not a dually. Let's go ahead and get started on this unit. I made a diag video on this truck and I posted it over on the second channel. That's the backup channel. It was more of a walkthrough and we checked out all of the concerns on the vehicle. We're gonna go ahead and get started and repair some of these concerns. Real quick though, before we start this, listen to the engine as it wants to start up. Did you guys hear that? It sounded like it was struggling a little bit to come alive. And look at right here. Our charging system seems to be slightly underperforming. I think those batteries are low, or they're just bad batteries. Either the alternator's not working and it has deteriorated batteries, or it just has really bad batteries and the alternator's trying to get them charged up, but they're just drawn down so bad that we can't seem to come up to 14 volts. Here we go, now we're coming up. So we also might have a charging system problem with this, and we could possibly have a battery issue with this. Yeah, there we go. Now we're up to 14 and some change on the voltage. So anyway, like I was saying, I did preliminarily make like a diagnostic walkthrough video on this truck because there is a litany of concerns with this particular vehicle. I will leave a link to that diag video down in this video's description. I will also put that link in the pinned comment. That's the one at the very top, and I'll put a link to it like right up here in the upper right hand corner if you want to go back in time and take a look at that other video. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get started on this. There's a massive exhaust leak on this thing, and rather than spending boatloads of time and risk and money to replace the leaking exhaust components, I'm gonna bust out the welder and we're gonna try to weld up the holes that I found in this manifold. It appears that somebody once upon a time has drilled a hole in the passenger side exhaust manifold, firing down, and with that hole they either had a like a thermocouple in there or some kind of a probe for temperature readings, or they drilled the hole for some other reason unknown to me and they put a plug in it. Either way, that plug has come out. There's a giant gaping hole in the manifold. So rather than going down the rabbit hole of risk trying to replace that manifold, I'm gonna bust out the welder. We're gonna try to weld that hole up, and then I can recheck for other exhaust leaks as well. However, as we do that, and before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead, break out the battery charger and charge up these batteries. Once these two batteries are charged, probably after I'm done with the weld work, I can get out a tester, disconnect these individual batteries, test them individually to see if one or both of them is bad, and then at that point we can conduct a charging system test to see if this alternator is gonna work out long term or not. I mean, it's not looking that great, and we may need to replace that nader, but we're gonna have to cross that bridge when we get to it. So let me go ahead and grab the battery charger. We'll go ahead and get these things back up to well, to a charge level that I can test at, and then we'll go from there. And in the meantime, like I said, while that's charging, we'll weld up that exhaust manifold leak, which is, let me take you around over here. I already found it earlier. Begin illuminating now. Yeah, we can see right there, there's a perfect little hole right there in the side of that manifold. You see that hole right there? That's not good. That means that the turbocharger is not receiving exhaust gas pressure like it should be, so it's going to be underperforming with its boost readings. Consequently, that's probably going to make it smoke, and it's going to have a power loss situation going on here. So we can see all of these holes, or these bolts here, are very corroded and rusty, and my fear is we're going to break these studs off in the head, and I'll have to end up welding onto this thing anyway to try and extract those broken studs. So rather than going through all of that risk and agony and suffering, I'm just going to weld that hole up real quick, and then we'll, like I said, we'll go back and recheck and test for additional leaks at that point in time. Yeah, it's funny because folks were saying that I don't do much or any work on diesels, and there's a diesel, there's a diesel, there's a diesel. Right over there next to that, there's a diesel. There's actually more diesel vehicles in the parking lot than there are gasoline-powered diesels in the parking lot. which I find that to be ironic, considering that some did not think that I worked on diesels. Now there are some that I don't work on, like Mercedes, but for the most part, if it's domestic, I'll work on it. And if I can't work on it, we can schedule it for A-Rod with Power Stroke Tech Talk with A-Rod. He's from Michigan, but he comes down here every couple, not every 6 weeks or so, to schedule in some 6.7 Ford turbo diesel work. So we're gonna charge this, we'll do 50 amps, all of it. Yep, so we're charging right now, power's going in. Now these batteries in theory should charge equally because they are connected as one battery, not two batteries. So we're charging both of them as we speak. And again, while that's happening, we're gonna bust out the welder, weld up that hole, and then we're gonna go from there. So stay tuned because this is gonna be a very good video. Opening the hood. Oh, look who that guy is. Ruh-roh, I see that coolant leak's not getting any better. Look at that. Yeah, we're also gonna have to pull this apart to change that hose. Like I said earlier in the other video, I want to drain this cooling system out, disconnect that fitting on this coolant hose right here, and just make sure that the radiator hasn't suffered any damage. It's probably just in the hose right there. There's some seals inside of that little that connector unit, but again, that's another bridge we're gonna cross here in a moment. All right, so word to the internet, I am breaking rule number 1, and that rule is do not weld on the internet, because it just really opens the door for a whole lot of reaction, and I'm aware of that, but I kind of don't care. So I am gonna go ahead and weld this, and you guys are gonna hang out and watch. That being said, I am no professional welder. This is not my skill set. I can muddle my way through it, and I can accomplish the goals that are necessary. Nothing that I'm gonna weld is structural. Take that off right now. Nothing that I weld is structural, and there is minimal negative consequences to my welding behavior as I post that on the internet. But that does not mean I'm not aware of the risks of this operation. One thing to note, this pipe right here, that's the up pipe, that goes straight into the turbine on the turbocharger. If I were to get debris or metal or pieces of the wire from the welder inside of this manifold, and then we run this engine, there is a chance that those, well, there's a certainty that those pieces will make their way up to that turbocharger. And it probably won't happen at low speed because the exhaust gas flow will have to pick that stuff up and then send that into the turbine. If that turbine is up to speed, you know, we're talking 80 to 100,000 RPM potentially. If anything hits that turbine or the compressor on the other side for that matter, it will damage those turbine and or compressor blades. So I have to take care to not strike welds on the back side of this hole. So I'm gonna weld on the front side of it and kind of pull it up, and then sort of make a, perhaps I'll describe it as like a dome or some form of shape. I'm not really sure how it's gonna go, but point being is I'm gonna take care to not get debris inside of this hole so as to not destroy the turbocharger. Okay, so first I'm gonna make an attempt to clean off the surface where I'm planning on welding here, because there is a bunch of dirt built up on that, and welding on dirt does not always work. So we're just gonna hit this with a little polishing wheel here, try to get away some of that nastiness. There we go. Now, as I'm sure you've gathered, there will be small pieces of debris that are going to end up in there. That stuff will blow through while the turbo is at low speed, so it's not going to be horribly critical if those little pieces of whatever dust makes its way inside of that hole. However, again, we want to avoid having the big chunks of stuff end up inside of that hole. Okie dokes, masks on, safety first, do not become blinded by the light. Ruh-roh. My tip is stuck. I got the tip stuck. I think I was a little too close to the wire right there. So I'll take some side cuts here and just give it a tug. There we go. Snip it off. Going back in. Hole's getting smaller. Almost sealed up. Look at that. That's good. Haha, got it. That's good. Okay, I think we're in good shape here. It should not be leaking. I know we're charging the batteries, but let's head back inside. I'm gonna fire this thing up again, and I'll give it the feely feel test to make sure that there's no pinhole in the center of that weld. You'll be able to feel the leak because it'll be wisping out everywhere. And yes, we are charging, so let's just crank up the power just a little bit here. And yeah, I know, I didn't disconnect the battery. It's fine. Beginning engine restarting sequence now. Turn you back down. Okay, I don't feel any other leaks around this area. It should be good to go. There's no leaks here. I feel nothing. I don't hear anything. Good. Let's go back and shut her down again. Okay, so since we're working on that corner so far, I'm going to go ahead and get this coolant line disconnected. We need to inspect the seal inside of that hose and inspect the nozzle here on this radiator to see what exactly is causing this leak. So let me go fetch another bucket. This could get a little messy. I'm not sure how much coolant's left. It had a low coolant warning on when we hopped in the vehicle. So I don't believe there's much left inside of that overflow tank. Okay, put that down there, and we're going to need a pick to remove the clip that is on that that coolant line right there. Okay, so you'll have to excuse this AC line that's kind of obstructing our viewing pleasure. I can't do much about that, but this this radiator hose here has this little metal clip that secures the hose to the radiator. Now we can't lose that. Can't replace it. What I need to do is pull this thing back and away from the radiator. Probably easier said than done here. Hang on. Lay on the ground. I can probably get some better force on it if I lay down here, which is also not cool because I might take the coolant money shot to the face. Yep, it's raining coolant. Yeah, let's let this drain out. Once that's disconnected, I'll be able to take a look at the seal inside, and we'll see what we need to do about rectifying this here situation. Okay, I think we have enough drained out of our drain right here. Try to pull this back a little bit farther. No. Hang on here. Here's what we're gonna do. Come on, there we go. That's what I want to see. I want to get to the seal the O-ring seal inside of this hose. So look inside of this hose a little bit. See that orange O-ring right there? That is the seal that hangs on to all of our coolant. Let me dig that guy out. Okay, so this is why we're leaking. Look at here. There's some RTV sealant or something on it. Someone's tried to repair this. This O-ring's pretty flattened out. From what I can tell, I don't see any damage inside of there, inside of that hose. And up here on the radiator, I don't see any cracks or damage in this little outlet nozzle right here. Yeah, there's no cracks in that. I'm wondering if I can just replace this this guy right here and save 4-something hours worth of labor. Let me go look up my parts catalog and see if I can't get a hold of one of these O-rings. This might just be our only issue here. It's worth testing to find out. Okay, so I have ordered what could be the appropriate replacement O-ring for that hose over there. And what I said could be because there's a note on it that said updated hose only. I'm not sure if that one's gonna fit, but it's at least worth a try before we go into the 4-hour job of pulling that hose apart. Anyway, while that's happening, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect these batteries and we're gonna test them with a couple testing methods. First, I'm gonna check voltage, then we're gonna run a digital test on them, and then I'm gonna actually put a load on each individual battery to see how it holds up under an amperage draw. So let's go ahead and get started right now. Okay, multimeter coming in. We're gonna set this up for DC voltage, and we're just gonna check the static voltage of both batteries connected at one time. And we're at 13.56 volts. That's it's kind of up there. So we do have decent voltage at this point in time. So I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect one of these batteries. You can't test 2 batteries at the same time. You want to separate them and test them individually. Words. Okay, so that guy's disconnected. This is a hot lead, so we're just gonna be very careful to not short that to ground. All right, so now that that's disconnected, let's check static voltage of this battery. 13.01 volts, and static voltage of the other battery 13.2. So this one's sitting a little lower. See that? 13.2. Now this is freshly off a charge, so I do expect that surface charge to dissipate slightly. But let's move on with our testing protocol here. Next up, we'll do the digital test on this thing. Connector here, connector here. Now this thing is a 760 amp cold, or 760 cold cranking amp rated battery. So we got a battery, cold cranking amps, 760. Yep, bad battery, look at that. 297 CCA is what it's rated at on this particular tester. So let's go ahead and grab the other tester and just see how it handles a load. Let's stick this guy right here. A little bit more of a contraption. This is the old school way of testing batteries. Just throw a bunch of load onto it and let the smoke out of the tester and see what it does. Connect that to our negatory. Connect U to positive. And again, let's move in a little closer. Voltage is around 13. There's no load on it, so we're going to crank this up. This tester just has a very large resistive element inside of it, kind of like what's inside of a toaster. So pretty much we have a handheld dial-in toaster right here, but you can't put toast in it or bread. Okay, so we're cranking up. We're pulling 100 amps of power. Just dropping down. Turn that up to 200 amps. Yeah, we're dropping down. Voltage went low, the alarm is off. With 200 amps, we're down to 10.5 volts. And there's the smoke we're letting out, see that? Ooh, we're letting some out on the battery too. Not okay. Yeah, we're done here. That smoke is just dirt and nasty stuff that's cooking off of the resistive element inside of the tester. So, as per the voltage check, this battery is supposed to be good, but according to the digital tester and the old school tester, this battery is no good. So that one's junk. A lot of heat coming out of this thing too. That one's junk. Let's go over here and test the other battery. Now we've already checked voltage on it, so we're gonna hook up the digital meter, see how that one comes out, and then we'll hook up the load tester as well. There you go there. This one's a little tougher because the negative post is way out back underneath of this business right here. Connect you to that bolt, and then it's good. Again, 13 volts. Battery 760. Error. Okay, bad connection. Bad connection on the ground side. Let's go in through here. $760. This one came out $707. Let me try this on a different testing protocol. Restart, because I had it selected for gel. These are actually AGM batteries. They're not lead acid. It's a form of lead acid. It's a flat spiral. I don't know which one is the correct one here. Oop, bad connection. Did you hear the snap? It's making bad connection at that one. There's corrosion. Try it again. Sealed lead acid, SL1. That's going to be the one. 766. Okay. So since I did have this set on gel, let's go one more time on the other battery for sealed lead acid. Just to be thorough, because I know folks will not like that discrepancy. Look at there, voltage fell due to my load. Lead acid 760, 692. Look at that, that one is now passing. Disconnect, restart. 692. So let's just verify those incorrect results that I had just caused through my oversight. Let's go back to gel, see if it passes on a gel battery. Weird, okay. So they're passing, they are passing. The load test version didn't really care for it. Let's go try it again with the load tester on this battery. So we're gonna turn down our load. I almost condemned some batteries due to a testing error. So I like to test these multiple times. It's good to do that. 13 volts. Let's fire it up. My load's not coming in. Oh, there we go. Okay, at 100 amps, we're okay. 200 amps, we're starting to fall. 300 amps, voltage is dropping. I'm gonna leave these batteries alone. I think these are gonna be okay. And our smoke's coming out again too. So, now what I wish to do is go ahead and connect both batteries again. Tighten this guy up, and I'm going to connect the meter to the system when I figure out what to do with that hose, and we're going to check that alternator for its output. So since we're going to do that, I'm going to get another meter out, and we're going to check actual amperage output from that alternator. There it is. We have a snap-on meter here with an amp clamp. So we're going to connect this clamp to the output circuit on that alternator And then we'll also connect the voltmeter so we can watch amperage and voltage at the same time. Okay, so over here on the nadir, you see what I see? That's a very corroded connection on that output terminal. I don't particularly care for that. There could be a lot of resistance right here in this wire, but we're gonna test her up anyway. So let's turn, I think we need to have this on the milliamp scale, and I realize we're not testing for milliamps, but we will connect this and utilize the milliamp scale because this amp clamp will convert its amp reading and then send it to the meter on the milliamp scale. And I think it's DC amperes. It's been a while since I used this. Voltage, hertz, comm line. Yeah, we'll start it off on the amp scale. It's DC amps. We'll go with that one. Let's power this unit up to 400 amps. There's a 400 amp and a 40 amp. And I think if we turn the calibration dial, that'll let me know what scale to use because it'll change the readout on this meter. So we're on the wrong scale. Let's try this one. Nope. Nope. Millivolt, that's the one, millivolt scale. Here we go. So now I'll calibrate this down to 0. Negative 33, negative 24. See, I'm turning the little knob and we're gonna calibrate down to 0. Yeah, last time I used this, folks were unhappy that I had this on the millivolt scale. But that's the way this configuration works with a digital multimeter. We don't have to be exact on it because it's a very sensitive dial, but we want to get it within a tenth or two. Coming down, coming down. It's about as good as it's going to get. Right about here. Oh, too far. Alrighty, so I got this dialed down to about a tenth of an amp. As sensitive as this is, that's as close as we're gonna get. So now what I'm gonna do is hook the probe up. It's gonna measure how much power and amperage is going through this this particular wire. So this is only gonna measure alternator output. Lauren is gonna hop in the cab in a moment and start the engine. I have temporarily plugged in that that radiator hose down there. That way, in case there is more coolant hanging out, it's not gonna pump out with the water pump. So we've got voltage and amperage. Lauren, would you be a dear and go inside and restart this engine? I may have that clamp backwards. We'll just have to flip it around if that's the case. Yeah, go ahead and fire it up. Alternator, it's making 97 amps. Let's check the probe on one of the batteries. That battery's taking in 18 amps. Still 80, 90 amps. Probe the other battery. Oh well. That other battery's taking in 33 amps. Lauren, will you do me a favor? Reach in and pull the high beams. I want to see if our power output increases with more load. Okay, shut it off. Yep, shut the engine down. Okay, well, this appears to be all operating as designed, but those batteries were actually down pretty far, so I'm thinking that either this thing does a lot of short trips and the nadir doesn't have time to get these batteries up to par. It could be a weak nadir. It's kind of a tough call. Everything's testing out okay. Let me think about this for a minute. So I've got an idea here. I'm actually going to upgrade this. I'm going to repair that corroded looking connection, sort of, and find a better way to test this all at the same time. So I've got this this little length of wire right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create another wire. It's going to go from this alternator over here to this battery terminal right there. So I'm going to make a new jumper and connect all that good stuff. And what that's going to be able to let me do is test this wire for current draw. If I find a bunch of current coming through this wire and not so much through that wire down over there, then I will know for certain that the corrosion and resistance in this wire is preventing these batteries from coming all the way up. It's also a cheaper alternative than replacing that wiring harness. So I need to build the other half of this real fast. Let me strip this back. You're doing it wrong. That's not how you're supposed to do that. I know, but I can, I got the feeling. I can feel it. I'm not cutting through all these strands inside of here. So what I'm going to do is ruin that. I'm going to stick another end on this and crimp it down, heat shrink it, and then make one more extra connection for this alternator to supply current to the batteries. Stick that guy on there like so. I know this is gravity. I know this is kind of overkill just for testing, but it's also going to be a repair, sort of, and an improvement. So what I'll do, I've got this hydraulic crimping tool here for battery terminals. Let's tighten that guy down. Let's give it some squeezes. I'll put the crimp in this terminal lug over here, and then we'll make a new connection. It's easy to do that because there's already studs and space to do it with. And we're also going to pull apart all these connections here and clean them up, because we could just have a lot of resistance due to the corrosion. Cable click. There we go. Take that guy loose. Bring that thing aside. Okay, that's good. Put some heat shrink over it so it's nice and pretty. Let's fire up the torch here. Begin shrinking now. See how we keep moving with the flame so we don't burn the heat shrink.
All you need.
I'm still waiting on that O-ring to show up for that radiator hose. It's either going to fit or it's not. Okay, that should be good. So what I will do, we're going to route this probably right on top of this this coolant hose here, and we can zip tie the thing on. So I'll leave, gotta do this carefully because these are technically live wires. All of them are live. What I'll do is run this one over here. That's the route that I choose. And we can connect it, yeah, right about there. So what I need to find is a nut and a washer to connect to this post right over here. Oh, you can't even see. Yep, so I'm running the hose over, we'll zip tie it onto this upper radiator hose, and then we'll bolt it down right here onto this terminal. That is the positive side. Spare leftover nut. Let's see if that's gonna thread on, and it does. That's very nice. Tick. Okay. Now over here on the left side, stay, that's live. I'll take the nut off of the alternator. Come on off of there, don't break, there we go. And then we can put that terminal end right here on this output shaft, or output terminal.
You got what, an old creeper down here?
Let's see how I want to do this. What I'm thinking, we'll run this behind this wire here and kind of loop it around. That should be good. Yeah, just like that. We'll do this. So effectively, we've just created another wire to send power to the batteries. Kick. Okay, that's good. Now I'll just need to secure this wire to the rest of these harnesses with some zip ties. You know, I don't like that. I don't like the bend that we have here. It's not okay with me. Let's undo this and try again. I love my job, so I do it twice. Yes, I would rather just have that come straight through. I think things could rub in the future and then break the insulation and then short that to ground. So we'll do it this way. It's a cleaner look as well. That's better. Okay. Okay, so I've got some zip ties on there. Darling, come back. Come back and see us. You have to make your cameo for the day.
Hey, hi. Oh, I did start the truck.
I know. Would you mind running in there and starting it again? So we've got the meters back on. Let me get this close to 0. 3, 4, whatever. You go ahead and start it whenever. There we go. So that's connected to the alternator, effectively offering an alternative route for the electricity to not have to use this wire that does not look very good. So let's clamp this one. Look at that. Pulling 36 amps through this new wire. Now, let's check the old wire. Whoa! Let's see what kind of amps we're pulling through that old unit. 30, 40 amps, yeah. How about that? So the alternator effectively, you can go ahead and shut it down. Thank you. So effectively, the alternator couldn't get all of its output to these two batteries to maintain their charge because of high resistance and due to the corrosion inside of that wire right there. That's no good. Naturally, the actual repair is going to be to replace the starter and battery wire cable assembly. It's a pretty big conglomeration of components because this wire should be running down to the starter, and then from the starter it just tees off and then runs up here to this battery, At that point, it goes over there to the glow plug control module, and somewhere along those connections, it's also running all the way over and then making its other connection here at this other battery. That's not exactly the way that the routing goes, but with the addition of this other wire right here, we have proved out that there is a resistance issue. Another point of resistance here that we're going to encounter is all the corrosion on these connectors. So let's go ahead and actually start disassembling some things here. I'm going to clean up all those connections as well and get everything back to tip-top operating condition. That way the components can do their job. For starters, we need to get this bracket business out of the way. It's a 13 millimeter. Loud noises. Moderately loud noises. Dong. Set this thing off to the side. Now we have access to the terminals. These ones aren't too horrible. There's no bolt. These aren't too bad, but those ones on that side are definitely not any good. I'm still going to disconnect everything now because we're going in with some extra tools and some spray and some wire brushes, so I want to make sure that we have no electrical contact, because I really don't want to short something out here. Ooh, something else I just noticed. This battery and that battery are different makes and models. This is an Interstate, and that looks like a super start from O'Reilly's or something. So we've had one battery fail at some point, and then somebody just replaced one. That's also kind of a no-go. You really don't want to do that, because effectively you're adding a new battery to one that's, well, not new, and that can also cause the not newest one to take down the other battery. In short, I like to replace dual system batteries as a pair. Now, you'll never get that result under a warranty condition. The dealerships won't do that, but it really is the best practice. So here, let's pull this connector off. Oh, that's on there pretty good. The top of this terminal is kind of mushroomed out from, looks like jump starters or people finagling with it. People like myself. Pry bar. Need pry bar. We'll go with trim tool pry bar. There. It just needed some encouragement. And it went right back on. Yeah, look at all that. Bunch of corrosion inside of that terminal. A bunch of corrosion right here on the terminal. Yeah, none of that makes for a good connection. And we need a good connection. Check it out. A little wire brush thing, 4 battery terminals. They'll go on your drill. Now you gotta do the slow speed. I learned once to not let it impact. I may not be able to use this drill. I've broken many of these things by impacting them. Yeah, that'll do. Let's get that next one. Nice and shiny. Good. Let's get this other one over here. Also nice and shiny. And I need my ratchet for one more connector. You headed out there, darling? Okay.
You know it's not nice and shiny?
What's not nice and shiny?
Your van.
Your van?
Yeah, I need to wash it.
Oh, go clean it. We can get Jesus to do it. You want to detail some cars?
Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off, good sir. Yeah. It's that part. It's that part of the job description where I said, and whatever else I want.
Hey, wait a minute. This wasn't part of the Home Depot agreement.
I give cash tips. I mean, yeah, and this isn't Home Depot.
Right, but that's
So they're a major conglomeration. Okay. So we're not done yet. We need to clean out the inside diameters of the connections, and I'll just do that manually because I don't have an automatic brush that will go in there and clean those up. So we'll run this little wire brush through there, make those nice and shiny, and then we can get everything reconnected. And that's going to ensure that the batteries can accept the charge that the alternator is giving them. There we go. Just knock the dust out of it. So put that guy on. I'll leave the positive off for now. And we'll go over here to our negatives. Or to the other battery rather. There is a positive over here. Stick that guy in. Work it around. That's good. And this one's the really nasty one. Much more better. Okay, so both negatives are on this battery and that battery. I can see, I can see the positive one over there, so that's not grounding out. So let's get this positive cable attached. We'll come back over here and then get this positive cable attached. Zzz. You hear those sparking actions? The arcing sparking. Let's go ahead and get some torque on these guys. Or some tightness rather. There we go. Next. Click. You see why I chose the plastic one? If I were to ground that out somehow, it's not going to arc the two batteries back together. Minimal safety precaution, but it's there nonetheless. Plus it matches my gloves. Okay, that guy is tight as well. Now I'm gonna get some corrosion dissolving chemical, soak these terminals real quick, try to clean them off, and then we'll put some protectant spray on there so the corrosion cannot reoccur. And then we'll fire it up one more time and then recheck. My hose O-ring that I ordered is now present, so as soon as we get this thing kind of under wraps here, we can go back and try to see if that hose that's existing on the truck is going to seal or not. Battery sealer, ignition terminal sealer, that's some VG stuff. Where's the other one? Battery cleaner, the NOCO stuff. Okay. Ooh, wait. This one's open. Battery cleaner and battery sealer. Perfect. Okay, give it a shake. Let that stuff foam up and get in there nice and deep like. And that theoretically should break away all this corrosion and leave this system nice and shiny. Hey, are you waiting on parts for that Rama Caravan thing?
Yep.
Dang.
Should have ordered from the proper people.
I should have ordered it. Well, you guys didn't have any at your store, so
I apologize.
It's your fault. Okie doke. So the foamy stuff has subsided. Just go ahead and rinse this off with some loud noises with some blue water. It's windshield washer solvent. And rinse that guy off of there. That's good. And we'll go and rinse the other side. Gravity. flashlight. Actually, you guys knock that one down. Rinse that one off. Rinse that one off, nice and shiny like. So we'll let that stuff dry, and then we'll throw some protective sealant on those terminals, and that repair should be good to go. Yeah, that's a huge difference. Very nice. So let me go and find that O-ring box, and we're gonna re-O-ring that lower hose right down there and see if we can't seal the thing up. I believe this should fit. It's a Dorman O-ring, part number 926-160. It's orange in color, just like the one we took out. Let's get this thing down below on this coolant line and get her plugged back in. All right, back down below. We pull this hose back off. Oh, that's a tight squeeze. Come on now. Begin becoming removed again, hose. Yeah. There she is. Okay. So, take our O-ring and fit it over the radiator. That seems to be a good fit around the sealing surface. So now, let's see if that's gonna go into the end of this hose connection here. Pull that thing out of the way so we can kind of see what we're trying to see. Right in here is the groove for that O-ring. So I don't know if this one's gonna fit, because they did state that there was a new style hose, but it seems to fit in there. Let's get her straight so it's not folded. Okay, that guy's in position. Now the next challenge is going to be fitting it over the radiator there. Let me get some dielectric lube on this. That way we've got the best chance possible to make it fit, and we'll see how this is going to work out. Here's our lubricant. We'll apply a liberal coating in there. There we go. So now, fit this back over the fitting. And the hard part's going to be getting over that nozzle. This might not fit. That's a pretty thick O-ring. It looked thicker than the original. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to move some stuff out of the way. Maybe I can get a good grip on this hose. I can move some of these fittings or cables and wires and whatnot here. There's a battery cable right here. Put that way up there for now. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get much of a grip on this thing. This is aggravating. But it's worth a shot. Come on. Come on. I don't think it's gonna go. Ooh, man, oh man, yeah. If I look at the witness marks on that grease, there's really not much space. That's gonna have to seriously compress to slide over this fitting. I think that's the wrong style. Like I said, they mentioned there was a new style and an old style, and I know this is the original hose, so it stands to reason that's the old style hose. Okay, we might have to change this this whole hose assembly after all. Okie doke, so some time has passed. We got this little measuring device here. I'm gonna take a measurement on the inside the inside diameter of this O-ring, how it sits. I've gone ahead and ordered the replacement hose, and it has showed up on the shelf. Parts store right down the road had it in stock. So here's what I'll do here. We're gonna adjust this little tool here to gain an ID measurement. A little bit more adjustment. I'm using my thumb here on the wheel to adjust this. Okay, it's barely touching both sides. So now, let me hop out and go check. Let's go check the hose and see about the diameter on this other hose here. So we put that down in there. Oh, that's so close, but it's like 1/8 of an inch. See that? Yeah, that's enough. That's enough right there to make it not fit. So this is what they call the new style hose, and I'm gonna have to change the hose in order to seal this leak up. That's very unfortunate. So now we need to really start tearing this thing apart. All right, everybody, so here's the hose. Like I said, it's a multi-outlet conglomeration of components here. That guy is attached to the water pump. This one right here goes to the overflow tank right up here on top of the engine. We saw the issue with the fitting down below. This diameter is just slightly different to accommodate a slightly larger O-ring on the inside, and we cannot get the O-ring that's supposed to fit perfectly inside of there. I even tried to steal this O-ring out of this hose just to see if it would work, and this O-ring and this O-ring are the exact same components. So it looks like that old style hose has an irreplaceable O-ring. There's nothing I can do about it. So what we're gonna have to do is drop our torch on the floor. Give me that. What we're gonna have to do is just replace this entire hose. Like I said, that's about a 3 or 4 hour job. I forget what the book said, but it's up there a little bit. So I'm gonna have to save that one for the next video on this particular truck. So having said that, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out right now. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to let me know about that in the comment section down below. Do not forget to tap that like button while you're down there. And most importantly, have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. See you on part 2. Thanks for watching. End of video. End of transmission.